Hey guys, this is Chris from Empire Bricks and welcome to another LEGO Star Wars set review. Today we're having a look at an iconic set. It's set 75105, the Millennium Falcon. It was released in 2015 and it comes with 1329 pieces. It has 7 minifigures and it retails for $149.99 in both dollars and euros. So guys, I've been really wanting to review this set for a while now. I got it on May the 4th this year, 2017, and it has been kind of waiting to be reviewed, but I really wanted to take the time to do it and to make a good review. Also, it's quite a big set and there's a lot to talk about, so I really wanted to have a good look at the ship and then review it. So here it is, let's dive in. As always, we'll start with the minifigures. There are 7 of them this time. Starting with the first one. This is Han Solo. It is the old Han Solo from The Force Awakens. And it's kind of plain. Same jacket, no new jacket. But it's still a nice jacket. And if you have a good look, you can see he has some leg printing. It's kind of a belt hanging down. But there's a lot of pockets that you can see, even though it's kind of dark. And the back is kind of plain, just some wrinkles and stuff on the back. He has gray hair, nice hairpiece, but he is the old Han Solo. But if we take it off, we can have a look and we see that he has a secondary face, kind of a doubtful face. But I do really like this kind of face, which is the Chewie, we're home kind of face. So really happy to have this figure. I didn't have an old Han Solo yet, but it fits the collection nicely. And he comes with a regular small blaster. So next up is his co-pilot, Chewbacca, or Chewie. And this is quite an amazing figure. I'll just take off the bowcaster for a second so we can appreciate the printing on this figure, because there's a lot of printing and I'm really happy with how this looks. I've seen a few Wookiees by now, and this is by far the best one. The teeth and the eyes and all, it's great, and the coloring of the hair and the belt. Yeah, just an amazing figure. He is kind of dark, I think darker than Chewbacca really is, but I don't think that's a really big problem because the lighter browns are just too light. So I understand why they did that, and of course no secondary face because the whole headpiece is one big thing. So there's no secondary face for him, but he does come with his bowcaster, which is kind of a powerful weapon in the movie. Just putting this on for a second. But it's also a stud shooter. And even though I don't like stud shooters, I think that for this bowcaster, they pulled it off pretty nice. It looks amazing. It actually works. So yeah, it's cool to have him get this bowcaster and use it on some First Order Stormtroopers. So that's Chewbacca. Next up is Rey. Let's get her sharp for a second. So this is the Rey that has encountered Han and Chewie and the Millennium Falcon, and she has the same clothing as in the scenes before. It's the robe, but I think that the printing of the robe that kind of continues onto the legs is really amazing. It's almost, from a distance, it's hard to see that there's actually a separate leg piece because the printing is just, it's so good. Look, the lines really connect. That's great. And what I really like about her is that they gave her a small regular blaster, but it's not black. It's in a metallic silver, kind of symbolizing the gun that she got from Han, the blaster. And then she says, I can take care of myself. And then he says, I know, that's where you're getting it. So I like the attention for detail. It could have been a black blaster, but they took the time and made something different for her. She has the same hairpiece as from the Rey Speeder set and other sets that we've seen before, with the 3 iconic, bumps in the hair. And if we take it off for a second, we can see that she also has an alternative face, kind of a who are you face, and a more neutral face. And I like the more neutral face, just a little bit better. So keeping that on. The fourth figure is Finn. So he comes in quite a lot of sets by now, but let's see if we can get him sharp. Yeah, but still his jacket is pretty cool. It's the jacket that he supposedly got from Poe Dameron. No leg printing though. That's kind of a bummer, but I guess his pants are black, so kind of makes sense. The back is kind of plain as well, so it's not the most detailed figure, but he is kind of accurate. And he has two faces, just like the other ones. This is more of a intense face. If we take the hairpiece off, you can actually see a surprised or kind of action face. But as always, I kind of like the more neutral standard faces a little bit more. And he comes with a medium-sized blaster. The fifth figure is not actually a figure, but an astromech droid. It is BB-8. And it's the first time I've gotten him, so it's really cool to have a look at him from a close distance. And yeah, he is supposed to be the new R2-D2 in a way. And I really like the figure in the movie. He really has his own character, but I was wondering how they would pull out a minifigure for that. But they did. It looks amazing. I mean, this kind of part, the stud underneath, doesn't look that great, but if you actually put him on something, then you don't see that much. And just for the record, but all four sides are printed in a different pattern, and it's kind of hard to see from, because it's that small, but there's actually four different sides to him, and there's this separate printed top piece, and that makes BB-8. So cool figure, not too complicated, but again, there is some eye for detail, and I really like that. Up to number 6 out of 7 is Tasu Leech, and he is of course a kind of a gang member trying to collect some debts from Han Solo. Yeah, so here he is. He has some kind of space jumpsuit. No printing on the legs either, which is kind of a bummer. I mean, for a set like this, I kind of expect all the figures to have leg printing, but his figure is kind of dark anyway, so it's not a real big problem. But yeah, so the back printing has some belts and stuff, and he has two faces as well, a kind of a neutral face and an angry face. Let's get that sharp for a second. Yeah, here. So I think this one is more iconic because you can actually see the mustache really, really well. And here the mustache looks a little bit different. This one looks a little bit more, I don't know, correct. It's the same mustache, but just it fits this face better. So let's just turn this around. I actually like this face the best. And he has a hairpiece that kind of resembles at least the old Qui-Gon Jinn hairpiece, but I think this is simply the newer version of that hairpiece, and it's in black. And he comes with a, yeah, it's supposed to be some kind of an exotic space blaster, but these are the same guns that are given to pirates in Lego Pirates set. So I don't really like that. I think because everybody knows these are pirate, guns. They're old-fashioned guns. I think they should have, gone with something else over here. So I don't like the gun, but I do like the figure, even though he's not a real big thing in the movie. But kind of, cool to have an exclusive figure like that. And last but not least is a Kanjiklub gang member. So he is in the same gang as Tasu Leech, but he doesn't really have a name. But strangely enough, he does have way better printing than his, boss, I guess. So as you can see, he has this camo kind of thing going on with a lot of pouches and belts and, some drinking canteen on the legs. But just like Rey, the printing on the torso and the legs just combine greatly. So that's really cool. And the back is really detailed as well with another kind of backpack and some belts. So really nice figure. And the head is also something different. He has this eye patch going on. So it makes him kind of unique. And if we take it off, we can see that he actually doesn't have a secondary face, which is kind of odd because they took more effort in designing his torso than the other ones, I guess. But yeah, no secondary face. And he comes with this headpiece, which is kind of a very round helmet. I haven't seen it before, but it fits really well with the iPad, so I'm really happy with that. Downside is that he also comes with this pirate style gun, which I don't really like, but it does really make them go together. So kind of a long intro, lots of figures, but I really like the minifigure selection. There's some good guys, there's some bad guys, there's all the iconic movie heroes. So I guess it's quite a complete minifigure set. So if you buy this set, you actually have all the basic figures that you need. If this is your first Lego Star Wars set, then you can basically do a lot of stuff with this. There you have all the characters from the movie. You can do different scenes and stuff. So I really like that. Nothing to complain except for the blasters on the Kanjiklub gang members. So I'm going to put these aside for now because I need some room for this set. It's a little bit bigger than usual, so I need to pull it a little bit closer. And let's start with reviewing the set. So the overall look is kind of awesome. It is, of course, the Millennium Falcon from The Force Awakens, which you can actually see from the dish over here. It's a new satellite dish. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch episode 6, and you can see that during the exit of the Death Star, the Millennium Falcon kind of bumps into a ceiling or something like that, and the satellite dish breaks off. And this is a new satellite dish, and you can actually recognize the ship from The Force Awakens by this dish. So that's how you can recognize it. The overall look is great. I don't own the previous version, but I do know that this one is a little bit flatter. This whole part is a little bit thinner. So if you would look like this, then the other one would be quite a bit higher. I think this one is more accurate. I mean, the Millennium Falcon is kind of a sleek, thin ship. It's almost a flat disc, and this more resembles that than the previous set. But the overall looks are pretty good. There is many details. There's lots of greebling. There is some stickers though. The cockpit piece is printed, so that's great. I really like that. But for example, the satellite dish has a sticker on it, but it's quite easy to apply. There is some exhaust vents over here, over there, and over there, which are stickers. And there is these kind of engine exhausts that also have stickers, but they are, let's take it over here. Here are stickers with a hole in it. So it's a little bit harder to position them because, you really want to get a little bit, around that middle point. And as you can see, this one is a little bit askew, but these are kind of perfect. But nothing to complain about stickers. I mean, a set like this really needs detail, and not everything can be printed. So, for example, also this greebling, this would have been plain gray, and I really think the stickers add something to the overall look. So that's the outside. Going to the functionalities of this set, there is lots and tons of functionalities. So I'm going to take the camera for a while, and let's have a look at the ship from a closer distance. One thing that is actually new is these holes over here, which are there in the movie as well, but they made a function for them because there is these spring-loaded shooters. You can see the brick over here, and to actually trigger them, you can put your finger in that hole. That really sounded different than I wanted it, but you can push the spring-loaded shooter and you can shoot it. And there it is. So I think that's a really neat way of kind of hiding that feature. I've seen much worse in other sets, so I think this is one of the sets that really incorporates the spring-loaded shooters really well. So that's a big plus. There is, of course, a satellite dish that can move a little bit around. You can turn it 360 degrees because it's on one of those ball joint pieces from the Lego Mixels set, I think, that they use quite well here. It's not too loose, but it's loose enough so you can turn it around. Then, of course, there is this gun on the top, which is also from an iconic scene. I'll show you how it's actually manned from the inside, but it also turns 360 degrees. Going along, there is the cockpit. You can actually open it up. So the piece actually attaches to these joints. And let's take a look, and let's find Han Solo, take his gun out, and Rey as a co-pilot, because you can actually fit two minifigures, but you have to be a little bit smart about it. So one has to be a little bit on one side of it, and if you put the other one behind it, you can actually fit 2 people in there. And I think that with some modifications or some, even some, without modifications, I think you could actually fit 3 in there if you wanted to. But I think it's going to be hard to, for example, put Chewbacca in there because he's kind of hard to position and his arms don't come up all the way because of his headpiece. So that's the cockpit, guys, going on. There's, of course, a lot of functionality inside, but I still want to stay with the outside. So I'm going to turn it around for a second. And you can actually see that even on the bottom of the ship, there is this gun that you can actually turn 360 degrees. I wish I had 3 hands by now because I have to keep the ship up, but I think you get the idea. So that's kind of cool. And I'm going to turn that down again. You can also see the landing gear. You don't actually get to put the landing gear in the ship, but it doesn't matter. It looks great standing, so that's a good thing. So that's kind of the functionality from the outside. I'm going to open up the ship now, which I think works exactly the same as the previous Millennium Falcon. You can, flip this piece away, and then you can actually open all the separate wedge pieces, opening it up like a star almost. So there's some pieces that you actually cannot open. So for example, this piece is over here. You can position it a little bit if you need to reach somewhere, but yeah, that's about it. This piece is stuck over there, and this is the bridge kind of piece that keeps the whole thing together. So this and this adds to the sturdiness of the set. But having said that, let's have a look inside. There's lots of stuff going on. Let's just start from the cockpit. There's not an actual entrance to the cockpit, but there is, of course, this piece which I can turn away for a little bit. But there's not too much in this corner. So moving up over here. What they did in this version of the Millennium Falcon is there's lots of stuff. There's lots of greebling and boxes and, kind of making the whole thing look a little bit messy, but that's okay, I guess. So there's bricks like this that are kind of randomly positioned in the ship, and the bar over there and stuff like that. But going on, we get to the chess piece, which is really, really nice. It's the holochess game that we have seen in, I think, several Star Wars movies by now. And it's a really nice printed piece. And there's a nice console piece there as well. And around that, there are some chairs that are decorated with stickers. So the tan pieces are supposed to be the chairs. And there's some life packaging, exhaust system things, I guess. It's not really clear what all these stickers are, except the top ones are more buttons and consoles for the ship. So I think this is a really cool corner. It looks great if you have all the figures around here playing the holochess game. Going along, you can see there's another sticker over here, small detail, and this here, it's kind of hard to open it up. That's why the red piece is over there. But there is this container piece, which is the space that Finn and Rey are hiding in the movie when Han and Chewie enter the ship. But it's actually loosely attached to the bottom of the ship. You can take it off if you want. And then it kind of is an escape hole, or you can do different stuff with that. But it's specifically that scene that they tried to capture, and I think that's pretty neat. Going on a little bit further, we get to sort of the resting place, sleeping cabins. So as you can see, there's lots of more bricks and stuff going on. This one is intentionally put on top of a bed. So that's not an accident. I didn't do that by accident. That's actually how the ship is designed. And also there's more of these bars on the floor and stuff going on. And there's this tool for fixing the ship. So this is the sleeping quarters, but it's kind of messy. But still, it's fun to see figures over here. And going on, turning it further, we get to the hyperdrive and the engine. And I think the purple look with the stickers and this big sticker in the middle look just great as an engine. It's positioned underneath these pieces, so it fits well. I think that's done really nicely. And the whole thing is one big engine. They can turn a little bit if you want to, but there's lots of stuff that you can touch and look at and put figures around. So it really looks like a messy engine room that needs some attention. Turning further along, we get to this part where there's some, there's this tube going on, more box. So it's a really messy ship. I think they captured that very well, even though I would have liked something more in this corner, maybe something with real functionality, maybe guns or more consoles or a big seat for Han or something like that. But it's not completely, it's maybe a little bit too much stuff going on with all these random bricks and stuff like that. Over here there is another plate that can open, and if we have a look underneath the ship right now, you can actually see that that is the plate that opens up and forms the entrance of the ship. You cannot really walk a figure in there, but it's more for decoration, and you have to close it back from the bottom. But still, it's nice that they include something like that. The whole middle console is designed with lots of greebling pieces and all these exhaust pieces or grill pieces. It looks pretty well. And over here there is a seat for Han where he can chill out and check some things of the stats of the ship and stuff like that. So that's kind of a tour around the ship, but there are still some things left. For example, this over here, this is the gun that has to be manned. You can actually open it up. And on the inside, there is this plate piece that has two seats, as you wish. So let's take out Han and Rey from the cockpit. And you can see that they can actually go over here. It's really hard to do all this stuff with one hand. And you can put them inside of here. And the idea is that one of them is actually manning this gun, and the other one is manning the one that I showed you guys on the bottom of the ship. So that's kind of a neat feature. And that makes the complete tour of the ship complete. Just going to add the cockpit to the ship again and close the whole thing up. So this has been quite a build because I have reviewed the looks now. That's all the features. But the build itself is one of the most exciting builds that I have ever done in the Lego Star Wars universe. Oops, I just broke the ship, I think. Well, I guess the Millennium Falcon has a lot of stuff that breaks down a lot. So, putting this over here. So it has been an exciting build. It's 1,329 pieces, so for me it was not the biggest Star Wars set ever, not the biggest Lego set that I ever built, but definitely the biggest Star Wars set that I ever built. And it's really, really an exciting build. There's lots of different techniques. It feels really heavy. It's a big ship. Just look at my hand. It's huge. It's the size of a small coffee table, I guess, or a nightstand. It's a huge ship, but you can still fly it around as a kid. There's lots of playability. The figures are amazing. The inside of the ship has lots of details, and you can actually play scenes of the movies inside of there. So overall, this is one of the better sets that Lego has made for the Star Wars line. And if I can recommend anything, that if you don't have any Star Wars sets or not any big set, then this is just a must get. And I know it sounds a little bit like a cliche, but it's really true. I mean, I own the Star Destroyer, for example, and it just does not have the same complexity in the build. It doesn't have the detail inside. It just misses some stuff that this ship does have. And besides that, it is just such an iconic vehicle that this is a must-have for any Lego Star Wars collector. So guys, my final thoughts are that the biggest pros are, I guess, a very complete minifigure selection. It's a great build, lots of detail, so almost no downsides. I think, maybe the only downside for the figures at least are the weapons. And for the ship that, well, there are some pieces that are kind of, they kind of break off quite quickly, especially these things, as I showed you here. this one can break off pretty easily. If you play with it, that's fine, but it does tend to happen a lot. I think that with a few extra bricks, it could have happened. It could have been fixed quite easily, because it's not that hard to secure these things. But still, overall, it's pretty good. The price is okay. It's $150 for 1,329 pieces. It's a little bit over what you would normally want, but I understand why, because there is a lot of big pieces in this set. So I guess the piece to price ratio is just a little bit different if there's so much big parts. So an awesome set overall, a must get for any Lego Star Wars fan. This one or the previous one, but I think I would recommend this one because it's just a little bit more accurate, a little bit more detailed, better figures, and so on. Simply because it's newer, but still it's the better set. So guys, this was my review of the Millennium Falcon. I really hope you enjoyed it. It's a little bit longer than normal, but I think a ship like this deserves that. If you did like the review, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next video.